The silent passenger in Bay 3, the cargo ship Stellaris, moved slowly through the dark space lanes. Inside, human pilot Jace Morvan sat alone in the control seat, eating dried protein chips and checking the navigation screen. The trip from the outer moons to the Terra station was supposed to be quiet routine, just another boring job. But something was wrong. A blinking red alert on the screen caught his eye. Motion detected. Bay 3. That's strange, he muttered. Bay 3 was supposed to be locked. Sealed. Empty. Jace stood up, grabbed his small stun rifle from the wall, and walked through the narrow hallway. His boots echoed softly against the metal floor. The lights flickered above. The air felt different. As he reached Bay 3, he slowed down. His hand rested on the keypad. Motion, but no sound, he thought. He opened the door quietly. The bay was dim. Crates were stacked along the walls. Something moved behind one of them. He stepped forward, stun gun raised. "Whoever you are, come out slowly," he said in a calm voice. "No, answer." He walked closer, and then he saw her. A small figure crouched behind the crate, wrapped in a dark gray cloak, thin hands shaking, knees pulled close. Jace could see her feet, bare, with light blue skin and glowing lines along the ankles. Definitely not human. "You're an alien," he whispered. The girl didn't move. Her face was completely hidden under the hood. She stayed silent, not even breathing loudly. "Are you hurt?" he asked, lowering the gun a little. She finally moved, just a small shake of her head. "No. How did you get on my ship?" he asked again. "I checked the cargo list. You're not supposed to be here." Still no answer. He looked around. Nothing seemed broken. No forced entry. It was as if she had just appeared. "Listen, if someone's after you, I need to know. I can't get in trouble. This ship has trackers. If someone finds you here, please," a soft, trembling voice said. He stopped talking. "Please," she repeated without lifting her head. "Don't send me back." Jay stared at her. Her voice was full of fear, soft but clear. "Who are you?" he asked gently. "They want me because of this." She pulled something from her cloak, a small glowing stone with markings Jace didn't recognize. It hummed softly in the air. "What is it?" he asked. "My truth," she whispered. "My curse." "Curse?" Jace looked confused. She hugged the stone close to her chest. "They saw my face. They called me broken. They marked me for silence." Jace didn't fully understand, but he could feel her fear. She was not dangerous. She was scared. Hiding. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. "Don't let them see me," she said again, voice breaking. "Please." Jace sighed and lowered the stun gun completely. "Okay," he said after a moment. "You can stay for now, but I need to know your name." She was silent. He waited. Finally, she whispered, "Celia." "Okay, Celia," Jace said, offering her his hand. "Let's get you somewhere safe." She hesitated, then slowly placed her small hand in his. It was cold, too cold. He helped her up gently. Even standing, she didn't lift her head. Her hood stayed down, her face hidden. He took her to the maintenance room behind the engine core. It was warm and quiet there. "You can rest here," he said. "But if someone scans this ship, I might not be able to protect you." "I'll stay hidden," she said. He turned to leave but stopped at the door. "One more thing," he asked. "Why are you so afraid to show your face?" Celia didn't answer right away. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "Because when they see it, they scream." Jay stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. "You're safe here," he said softly, before walking out and closing the door behind him. In the silence, Celia touched her face under the hood. Her fingers ran over the glowing symbols that ran across her cheeks. They were not scars. They were stories. But no one had ever stayed long enough to read them. Until now, eyes behind the mask, Jace didn't sleep that night. He sat in the cockpit of the Stellaris, staring at the stars through the main screen. His hands were still. His mind was not. In the maintenance room below, the alien girl, Celia, was hiding. Quiet. Alone. What had he done? He had a stranger on board. She was not on any list, and worse, she was clearly being hunted. The stone she carried pulsed with strange light, and her face, she wouldn't let anyone see it. Jace leaned back in the chair, rubbing his eyes. Outside, the stars felt colder than usual. Then he heard it. Tap. 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 His eyes opened. The sound came from inside the walls. Someone's moving through the crawl ducts. He jumped from his seat, grabbed his tool belt and a flashlight, and quietly followed the sound down the corridor. The tapping was soft, but too regular. Not mechanical. Not random. It was someone, or something. As he moved past Bay 3, he felt a chill. A shadow passed behind the thin engine panel. Too fast to be a rat. Too large. He gripped his flashlight tighter. "Celia?" he whispered. "Is that you?" No answer. He opened the panel slowly, flashlight ready. Nothing inside. But something was wrong. A section of the inner wall was hot, freshly touched, and then he noticed it. A small circular burn mark, like a tracker had been attached. Someone was here, he muttered. He rushed to the maintenance room. Celia was sitting in the corner, knees pulled to her chest, the glowing stone in her hands. Her hood was still up. "Someone else is on the ship," Jace said firmly. Celia didn't react. "Celia, listen to me. Did someone come looking for you?" She nodded slowly. "Who?" she whispered. "The Seekers. They smell the mark." Jace frowned. "Mark?" She reached inside her cloak and took out a thin silver wire. It shimmered in the light, barely visible. She showed him her wrist. A faint blue line ran across it like a hidden tattoo. "This was placed on me at birth," she said. "The mark of the unpure. The Seekers can sense it from systems away." "And you brought it on my ship," Jace said, more serious now. "They'll come here, you know that." Celia looked down. "I didn't want to, but I had no choice." He sighed and rubbed the back of his neck. "We need to change. Of course, if they're tracking you, we can't go to Terra Station. That's a major hub. They'll scan us on arrival." "I know a place," she said softly. "A hiding world, near the Twin Rings. Few live there." Jace stared at her. "How do you know that?" Celia looked up slightly. Her glowing eyes were visible from under the hood. "Because I was born there, before they took me." The room fell silent. Jace turned and walked back to the cockpit. He had no idea what he had gotten himself into, but he knew one thing now. They were in danger. Hours passed. The ship flew through the dark between systems, moving quietly toward the Twin Rings. Jace rerouted signals and jammed all outgoing comms, but something still felt off. He entered the storage bay again, scanning each crate, each wall. Then he found it, a small blinking device, tucked beneath one of the food containers. A tracker. "Damn it," he hissed. He ripped it out and stomped it, under his boot. Too late. Someone knew their location. He rushed back to the cockpit and checked the system radar. A ship was following them. Far behind, but gaining speed. Not a patrol ship, not a merchant. Private class interceptor. Heavily armed. Bounty class. "They found us." Celia stood behind him silently. Her hood still covered her face, but her breathing was faster now. "Scared. They will try to take me," she said. "They never stop." Jace looked at her. "Then we don't let them." He pressed a few buttons and activated the ship's stealth. Corsi, something he bought years ago from a black market dealer. It had never been used. Until now. The ship shimmered and went dark, its heat and signals vanishing into the void. "We'll hide in the rings," he said. "The ice clouds mess with sensors. They won't find us there." Celia touched his arm gently. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. He paused. "I don't know," he said truthfully. Maybe because you looked like you needed someone. And I've been that person before. Alone. No one helping. A long silence followed. Celia looked down. You are not like the others. Neither are you, Jace said. She hesitated. Then she pulled down her hood, just slightly. He saw her face for the first time. Glowing lines flowed across her skin, delicate, like river patterns. Her eyes were large, soft violet, and filled with pain. One side of her face bore a scar, but it glowed too as if it were made of light itself. They say my face is cursed, she said. Jace stared at her, not moving. They're wrong, he said. You're not cursed. Celia looked away. You don't know what happens next. What happens, he asked. When the Seekers find me, she whispered, they don't take me back. They destroy me. Outside the window, a shadow moved, across the stars. The bounty ship had entered the rings too. They were not alone anymore. The bounty and the betrayal, the icy rings of Delva's 9 spun silently around the gas giant, throwing long shadows across space. Inside them, hidden within a cloud of frozen dust and debris, the Stellaris floated quietly. Jace turned off the last of the engines. The ship drifted without sound, invisible to scanners. For now. He sat in the pilot seat, staring at the flickering radar screen. It showed one red blip, moving slowly through the ring cloud. The bounty hunter's ship. They know, we're here. They're just waiting for us to move. Celia sat on the floor behind him, hugging her knees, eyes half closed. She hadn't spoken in hours. The glow on her skin had dimmed, like she was fading. Are you okay? Jace asked softly. They are close, she whispered. I can feel their minds, like insects crawling. Jace shivered. She wasn't just a refugee. She was something more. He opened the message log and checked again. The bounty alert had appeared 12 hours ago. It showed a photo of Celia, hooded, face hidden. The reward, 1 million credits, dead or alive. Reason, genetic threat to royal purity laws. He scrolled further. His name was listed too. Pilot Jace, Morven, aiding fugitive. Reward, 500,000 credits. He stared at the screen for a long time. He could erase the alert, but the memory of it stayed. 1 million credits. That kind of money could change everything. Then a knock echoed through the metal hall. Jace spun around. Knock, knock, knock. It was too slow, too polite. He stood up, stun rifle in hand, and walked toward the sound. It came from the docking bay. He pressed the screen beside the airlock. A message popped up. Open the hatch, Captain. We just want the girl. You don't have to die for her. No sender name, no voice, just words. Celia appeared behind him. She had followed quietly. They always ask, she said. They always offer a choice. What if we say no? Jace asked. Then they burn everything. Jace looked at the message again. They must have boarded when we slowed down. They're already inside, she said. He turned and ran back toward the cockpit. She followed. As he entered the bridge, he heard a sound behind the walls again. Soft, metal creaking. Someone was crawling through the service shafts. He shut the door and locked it. Then suddenly, the ship lights turned off. Total blackness. Celia gasped. The glowing lines on her skin lit the room faintly. Jace grabbed a flashlight and turned it on. They're jamming the systems, he said. Trying to isolate us. Then the internal speaker crackled. A voice came through. Smooth. Calm. Male. Pilot Jace Morven. You are in possession of royal property. Step aside, and we will spare you. She's not property, Jace shouted back. The voice didn't reply. The Dr. Locke behind them clicked. Then, boom. A blast shook the ship. Metal twisted. Sparks flew. Someone was trying to force their way in. Celia pulled something from her cloak. A silver disc. She pressed it against the door. A glowing field spread. Over the entrance. Temporary shield, she said. Won't last long. You have tech? Jace asked, surprised. I wasn't always a fugitive, she said quietly. Jace stared at her. Who are you, really? I am Celia Devon, she said. Last living child of the high bloodline. They marked me for exile because my birth skin carries light. They fear my kind. So? You're a princess? Jace asked. A forgotten one, she said. The shield flickered. Gunshots hit the door. Jace grabbed the controls. We have to get out of here. The ship won't survive a fight. I know a way, Celia said. A warp route. Only my people know it. Then you'll have to fly, he said, pushing the seat toward her. Her hands shook. I haven't piloted since they took me. But you can do it, Jace said. I'll cover you. He ran to the engine room and activated the manual thrusters. Another explosion shook the ship. He returned to the bridge. Celia was seated, her hands glowing as they touched the controls. You control it with your mind? Jace asked. Part of me is wired to machines, she said. I was born with it. The ship turned sharply and headed deeper into the ring. A second ship appeared on the radar. Larger. Faster. They brought backup. Jace shouted. Celia's eyes closed. Her skin pulsed with light. The stars around them began to blur. What's happening? Jace asked. I'm opening the gate, she said. A blue crack appeared in the space ahead. A thin slice of light in the darkness. It shimmered, unstable. Hold on, she whispered. The ship dove into the crack, and everything went white. They landed hard on the other side. Systems failed. The engine blew out. Lights died. They were somewhere else. Jace crawled up and looked out the window. The sky outside was purple. Floating rocks and clouds of gold dust drifted in silence. Where are we? He asked. The memory zone, Celia said. A dead system. No one follows here. You saved us, he said. Celia looked at him. You believed me when no one else did. You trusted me first, Jace replied. Then a beeping sound interrupted the silence. Jace checked his wrist pad, a new message from the bounty board. His heart stopped. Sender, Captain Varric, Jace's old war friend. I know you're hiding. Her. Turn her in and we both walk free. Meet me in orbit of Satara 3. Last chance. Jace closed the message. Celia asked, What will you do? Jace looked at her glowing eyes, her bruised arms, and the way she had fought to survive. He made his choice. We run. Escape through the forbidden belt. The memory zone was silent. Too silent. Outside the ship, floating rocks drifted like ghosts in space. No planets, no suns, no signals. Only the ruins of dead satellites and forgotten debris from long-lost wars. Jace stared at the cracked window of the Stellaris. The ship was damaged. The main engine was fried. The life support was running low, and behind them, in another system, the bounty hunters were closing in. Celia sat by the wall, her arms wrapped around her knees. Glowing dust floated around her skin like tiny lights. We can't stay here long, she said softly. This place steals energy. Yours too? Jace asked. She nodded. My kind's power comes from memory and emotion. This zone has neither. It's empty. Hollow. Jace opened the ship's map and tapped into a hidden folder marked Restricted. It showed a route, the Forbidden Belt, a dense zone of collapsing gravity wells, drifting black holes, and lightning storms. This is suicide, he muttered. Celia stood beside him. But it's also your best chance. He looked at her. You know this route? He asked. She nodded. My people were cast through it long ago. I remember parts of it from my dreams. My body remembers the path. We're going through a storm of broken time, Celia. I don't even know if the ship can handle it. I do, she whispered. Because you won't be flying it, I will. Jace stared at her. Her eyes began to glow, brighter than ever before. Inside the engine room, Celia placed her hand on the broken warp core. Her glowing veins pulsed softly, and the core responded with a hum. Jace watched from behind. You're powering the ship, he asked. I am part of a long-forgotten bloodline, she said. We once built ships from light and flew through gravity like it was dust. They erased us because they feared what we remembered. As the warp core lit up again, the ship's systems came back online, slowly but enough to move. Jace leaned against the door, still in disbelief. How much can you really do? Celia turned, her voice firm for the first time. I can open paths others cannot see, but only if someone believes I should exist. He smiled faintly. Well, I do. Then hold tight, she said. The Stellaris rumbled as Celia guided it back into space. The memory zone vanished behind them. Ahead lay the forbidden belt. They approached the edge of the belt. Swirling black holes blinked in and out of sight. Lightning storms crackled across invisible fields. Time itself twisted in broken threads. You sure about this? Jace asked. Celia didn't answer. Her eyes closed. Her hands pressed against the controls. The ship moved forward, slowly, carefully. She weaved between collapsing rocks and invisible rips in space. Inside the belt, alarms screamed. Metal groaned. The radar spun wildly. We're being pulled, Jace shouted. Hold course, Celia replied. Her voice was full of strange energy. A black wave rushed toward them. Jace threw his arms up. The ship jerked, twisted, and passed straight through it. No damage. But the stars outside were different now. Where are we? He asked. Through the first layer, she said. 2 more to go. A second ship suddenly appeared behind them. Red lights, heavy weapons. They followed us, Jace yelled. The bounty ship fired a beam. It missed, barely. It scraped the side of the Stellaris, causing sparks to burst. Celia's hands trembled. I need help to focus. I can't fly and shield us at once. Jace ran to the side console. Then I'll shield, you fly. He activated the old defense grid, an unstable shield bubble. It sparked but held. The Stellaris dove into a tunnel of flashing light. Time slowed. Jace saw his own hand stretch and twist. Celia screamed, but not in fear. Her eyes were glowing white now. We're near the second core, she shouted. Get ready. Ready for what? Then everything went black. Jace opened his eyes. He was on the bridge. But the ship? It was not the same. The walls shimmered. The controls floated in the air. Light itself shaped the room. Where are we? Inside the belt's eye, Celia said. She stood calmly, at the center glowing brighter than ever. This is where time stops, she added, where the universe hides its forgotten paths. Is this real? Jace whispered. More real than the rest, she said. This place chooses who passes through. A voice echoed from nowhere. Only one may cross. Only one carries the blood. A glowing figure appeared. It looked like Celia, but older, regal. You are not broken, the figure said. You are the key. Celia closed her eyes. Light burst from her body. The belt's eye opened into a path of pure energy. Go, she screamed. Before it closes. Jace jumped back into the seat. The Stellaris shot forward into the light. Behind them, the bounty ship tried to follow, but the path slammed shut, crushed, gone. They came out near a blue giant star. Space was calm, clear, peaceful. Jace collapsed back in his seat. We made it. Celia fell to the floor unconscious. He rushed to her side. Celia, stay with me. Her breathing was weak, her glow fading. He carried her to the medbed and connected her to the ship's healing systems. She opened her eyes faintly. Did we escape? Yeah, Jace said, brushing her hair back. You saved us. She smiled weakly. I saw something. In the belt. A place. A city of light. It was calling me home. Jace nodded. Then we find it. Promise? She asked. He held her hand tightly. I promise. Outside the window, the star shined gently. For the first time in days, there was no enemy, no trap, no shadow. But deep in the void, someone else was watching. A figure in silver armor stood on the bridge of a much larger ship. She passed through the forbidden belt alive, he said to his crew. The bloodline has awakened. Should we engage? A soldier asked. No, the man said. Let them believe they are safe. The real trial has only begun. The Royal Guard's arrival. 3 days had passed since Jace and Celia escaped through the Forbidden Belt. The Stellaris now floated in low orbit around a small desert moon called Kaldros. Hidden beneath its rocky surface was an outlaw port. An old trading station where no laws reached and every species paid to stay unseen. Inside Docking Bay 17, the ship rested quietly. Repairs were slow. Celia had not woken up since their escape. Her skin no longer glowed. Her breathing was shallow. Jace stayed by her side, feeding her nutrient gels and scanning her vitals every hour. He had grown used to her silence. But now, that silence felt heavier, like something was slipping away. Outside the med bay, Jace met with an old friend, Torin, a human smuggler with gray eyes and a long scar down his jaw. They'd fought together in the war years ago. You don't look like a man on the run, Torin said, handing Jace a small datapad. I don't feel like one either, Jace replied, scanning the pad. It showed intercepted messages, encrypted royal signals. They're looking for her everywhere, Torin said. The bounty tripled after you escaped the belt. They think she's not just a fugitive now. They think she's a threat to the entire blood system. They're right, Jace said, and that scares them. What scares me, Torin replied, is that a squad of royal guards just landed on the other side of the moon. Full armor, full power. Jace tensed. How long do we have? 2 hours. Maybe less. Back inside the ship, Celia stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. Her skin flickered with dim light. Jace, she whispered. He rushed to her side. You're awake. They're coming, she said, already knowing. The ones who burned my name. We're not giving you to them, Jace said. Celia sat up with great effort. If they take me, they will erase my memory. I'll forget you. Forget me. He looked at her, truly looked, and said, Then we fight. You can't fight them alone, she said. I won't be alone, he replied. You're here, and I have help. The Stellaris' entry ramp lowered slowly. Jace, Torin, and a few outlaw techs stood ready with blasters and shields. On the other side of the landing ground, a sleek black ship descended. Its sides bore the golden emblem of the royal bloodlines. The ramp dropped, and 6 royal guards stepped out. Tall, armored in obsidian suits, faces hidden behind glowing masks. One of them stepped forward. He removed his helmet. Jace froze. Varric, he whispered. His old commander. His war brother. You joined them? Jace asked in disbelief. You joined her, Varric replied coldly. She's not a weapon. She's a person, Jace said. Varric stepped closer. She is the last of the Tavan line. Do you know what that means? Her blood can awaken the old powers, the same ones that nearly destroyed the Council a century ago. Maybe the Council deserved it, Jace said. Don't do this, brother, Varric warned. I can clear your name, erase your bounty. You can live free. And her? Jace asked. Her memory will be removed. She'll be reborn, quiet, safe. Safe for who? Jace snapped. People like you? The guards raised their weapons. Torin raised his too. A standoff. And then Celia walked out of the ship, slowly, weakly, but her steps were firm. Her hood was down. Her glowing skin was fully visible. The markings on her face shimmered in the daylight. Everyone stopped and stared. Even the guards hesitated. She walked between Jace and Varric. I am Celia Devon, she said, her voice echoing unnaturally. Child of the lost light. I will not be erased. You are no longer recognized, Varric said. Your blood is outlawed. Then your laws are broken, she said, and I will fix them. She raised her hand. The air trembled. A blast of light pulsed from her fingers, gentle, not violent. It passed through Jace, through the guards, through the entire station. For a moment, everyone saw something. Memories. Their own. Their pain. Their regrets. Their lost hopes. One guard fell to his knees. Another removed his helmet, tears running down his face. She She showed me my mother, he whispered. I hadn't remembered her face in years. Celia's voice trembled but stayed strong. I am not a weapon. I am memory, and I will not fade. Varric stepped back. What is this? He asked. What did you do? I reminded them who they are, she said. Something your empire took away. He raised his blaster, but his hand shook. Jace stepped forward. This ends here, Varric. You can still walk away. The commander looked at the girl, at the outlaws, at the crowd gathering around them. He lowered his weapon. We'll be hunted, he said. Both of us. Jace nodded. Then we run together. Varric turned to his team. Stand down. The guards hesitated, then slowly, one by one, they obeyed. An hour later, the Stellaris left the outlaw port. Celia lay on a bed in the control room, surrounded by wires and light. Jace sat beside her, watching space pass by. Why did he let us go? She asked. Because he remembered, Jace said. Because you made him feel something real. Will they come again? Yes, he said. But next time we won't run. We'll be ready. She closed her eyes. Her light pulsed again. I saw something when I touched their minds, she whispered. A place. Not far. Full of silence and light. The city of the lost. My ancestors built it. You think it's real? Jace asked. I know it is, she said. Then we find it. And what if it changes everything? She asked. He smiled. Maybe it's time everything changed. Outside the window, the stars twisted. Far behind them, deep in space, the council had received the report. The girl lives, said a dark figure. And she remembers. Another voice replied. Then, it is time, we erase the past completely. The secret of the stone. The Stellaris moved through deep space at half speed. The stars outside were dull, silent, like they were watching. Celia sat on the floor of the ship's observation deck, her legs crossed, hands gently holding the strange, glowing stone she had carried since the beginning. Her fingers traced its markings again and again. The symbols pulsed like a heartbeat. Alive. Jace stood nearby, arms crossed, trying to act calm. But he wasn't. He had seen too much now. Too many strange things that had no human explanation. And this stone, it was at the center of it all. Celia looked up at him. It's not just a key, she said. It's a memory core. Living memory. Passed from one heir to another. What kind of memory? Jace asked. A city, she replied. The last home of my kind, hidden when the empires began destroying bloodlines. It was locked away. Inside this. She placed the stone on the floor between them. As it touched the cold metal, the entire room shifted. Walls turned to glass. The ceiling vanished. Stars swirled above them like a slow storm. A holographic map appeared mid-air, showing constellations, ruined systems, and one marked location glowing gold. Xeros 9, the City of Echoes. Jace blinked. This is inside the stone? Celia nodded. My mother placed it there before she vanished. She told me. If I ever found someone who saw my face and didn't run, then it meant the world was ready again. Jace stepped forward. We're going there. We have to, she said. Because if I die, the city dies too. The memory ends, and they win. 2 days later, the Stellaris landed at an old trading outpost near the edge of known space. The place was falling apart. Broken signs, flickering lights, dry air. But inside one of its lower levels lived a creature who could read blood memory. Zoran, part machine, part living translator. No one knew what species he belonged to, only that he knew things most forgot. Zoran sat on a round platform, his metal arms connected to strange cables, eyes covered by glowing lenses. When he saw Celia, he stood up. The last child of Devan, he said in a deep, cold voice. I dreamed of your light. Can you read it? Jace asked, showing the stone. Zoran's hands hovered over it, He paused, then recoiled. "This is not just a memory," he hissed. "This is a call." "A call to who?" Celia asked. "To what was buried beneath Zaros," he said. "Not just a city, but a core, a pulse, the source of your kind's gift it was not meant to return." "But I'm bringing it back," Celia said firmly. Zoran tilted his head. "Then they will come for you before you reach it." Suddenly, the lights in the outpost flickered. Screens turned red, sirens screamed, a message appeared on every wall. Target locked, fugitive detected, preparing strike. Jace's face went pale. "We've been tracked again." Zoran turned. "They're here. You must leave. Now." They ran, blasters fired behind them. Bounty soldiers in black armor stormed the halls. Jace fired back, covering Celia as they reached the docking bay. Torin was already waiting by the ramp. "Go!" Torin shouted. "I'll hold the door." "No!" Jace yelled. "Come with us." "Someone has to close the lock behind you," Torin said. "I owe you. This is my chance." Jace hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you." Torin gave him a quick salute, then turned to face the incoming troops, blaster ready. The Stellaris took off just as the blast doors exploded behind them. In the cockpit, Jace flew with shaking hands. Celia stood beside him, her stone glowing brightly. "How many ships behind us?" he asked. "3. Fast ones," she replied. "But we can lose them." "How?" She placed the stone on the control panel. It merged with the system. The screen lit up. A new path appeared. Unknown, hidden in dark matter lanes. It led straight to Zaros 9. "This lane was made for me," Celia said. "Then let's use it." Jace activated the warp. The ship jumped into the void. Space bent and twisted around them. The lane was narrow, like flying through the spine of a living creature. The ship shook, creaked, almost screamed, but the bounty ships couldn't follow. They vanished behind. Then, silence. Pure, dark silence. They arrived. Zaros 9 floated ahead like a lost jewel in space, an ancient planet with glowing rings, cracked lands, and towers of glass rising from its surface. Lights blinked across it. No life signs. No radio waves, but Celia smiled. This is it. They landed on a platform made of white stone. As Celia stepped out, the planet responded. The lights grew brighter, symbols on the ground lit up under her feet. She walked slowly, calmly, as if the land knew her. Jace followed. They entered a tall structure, half temple, half machine. Inside stood a massive crystal heart, pulsing, waiting. Celia approached it. "This is the Echo Core," she whispered. "It holds the voice of my ancestors." She placed the stone inside a slot on the heart's side. The core lit up. A wave of energy burst out, soft but powerful. Jace saw visions, ancient cities, skies filled with glowing ships, people of light and shadow, laughing, crying, building. Then, fire, war, silence. The Devon bloodline erased. The memory ended. Celia collapsed to her knees. They were all taken, all forgotten. Only this remains. Jace knelt beside her. "You brought it back. You kept the memory alive." "But they're coming," she said. "The ones who destroyed us. I can feel them now." "Then we fight," Jace said. "We hold this place. We protect it." Above them, in orbit, dozens of red dots appeared. On the radar, ships. Warships. Coming fast. A voice came through the comms, cold, merciless. "Celia Devon, you will surrender the core, or your memory ends here." Celia stood slowly, her skin lit with fire and light. "I am not surrendering," she said. "This time, I remember who I am." And for the first time, she began to rise, not walk, not float, fly. Her power had awakened, and the storm was coming. A new home. A new name. The sky above Zaros 9 turned red. Warships filled the orbit. Shadows passed over the ancient towers as enemy vessels locked their cannons onto the planet's surface. The voice from above echoed again, colder this time, This is your last warning. Surrender the core. Surrender the girl. But Celia did not flinch. She floated above the marble platform, her skin glowing like sunlight through crystal. The energy from the echo core flowed into her, through her. Her eyes shimmered with every memory her people had once lost. Jace stood below her, hand on his blaster, heart racing. He wasn't sure what she had become, but it was beautiful and terrifying. "Celia," he said softly, "they'll hit the core. They'll hit you. Then let them," she whispered. "It's time they see what they tried to erase." The first blast struck moments later. A beam of plasma from the lead warship hit the edge of the tower. Stone shattered. Fire burst into the air. The ground trembled, but Celia raised her hands. A dome of golden light expanded from the core, covering the tower, then the entire city. The beam bent in the air and scattered. On the enemy bridge, the commander growled, "Full firepower. Now!" Dozens of beams shot down from space, thick, blinding rays of destruction. But none of them hit. The shield held. Inside the dome, Celia's voice rang out, not just in the air, but in the minds of every living being. Nearby, "You burned our homes. You erased our names. But we remember." On the surface, the ruins of Zaros began to rise. Broken towers floated into the air and reformed. Shattered bridges reconnected. Cracked statues of long-lost ancestors healed themselves in glowing light. The city was coming back to life. Jace watched in awe. "This isn't just power," he whispered. "It's resurrection." In orbit, confusion spread. One of the enemy, captains shouted, "Our systems are going dark. Something's rewriting our core code." Across multiple ships, lights flickered. Weapons shut down. Engines stalled. "What's happening to us?" a voice replied. "Not through speakers, but through thought. Your technology is built on stolen memory. It now belongs to its maker." On the bridge of the main warship, the lead commander activated the emergency override. "Prepare the final weapon. If we can't take her, we destroy the planet." A hidden compartment opened in the base of the ship. Inside it, a dark, writhing device emerged, black glass forged from forbidden science. It pulsed with void energy. The Oblivion Spike. Jace recognized it instantly. "They're going to wipe the planet's timeline, make it like this place never existed." He turned to Celia. "You have to stop them." She looked down at him. "You came for me when no one else did. You carried me when I could not walk. I will not let your world forget this day." She flew into the sky, higher, faster, brighter. The light from her body pierced space itself. On the enemy ship, alarm screamed. "Something's coming. From the planet." Celia burst through the clouds like a comet. Her body was surrounded by golden energy rings, her eyes full of blazing stars. As she neared the ship, the Oblivion Spike charged up. It fired, but it never reached her. She extended her arm and caught the blast. It bent around her like water. Then, with a cry that echoed across systems, she released all the energy she had stored. A wave of pure memory exploded outward. It wasn't just light, it was history. The attackers saw visions, their childhoods, long-forgotten moments they had buried deep in guilt, the lives they had stolen. The screams of the Divan children burned long ago. Many dropped their weapons. Some wept. Others simply shut down. The main ship cracked open, its power core overloaded by its own stolen energy now returning home. A final blast erupted in the sky. Then, silence. The war was over. Celia floated gently back to the surface, her body dimmed. The glow faded. Her steps were slow, weak. Jace caught her as she collapsed into his arms. "You did it," he whispered. "No," she said. "We did." The echo core behind them pulsed softly. A message appeared in the air, written in the language of the Divan, she remembered. Now the galaxy will not forget. Months passed. Saros 9 became more than a city. It became a sanctuary. Exiles, outcasts, Broken beings from across the stars came, not to fight, not to conquer, but to remember. Celia stood as its heart, no longer hidden, no longer cursed. The girl who once hid her face now stood before crowds, her story known by billions. And Jace? He stayed by her side, not as a protector, not as a savior, but as something far simpler. Her friend, her family, her home. One morning, as the twin suns rose over Zaros, Celia and Jace stood on the edge of a tall glass balcony. "They gave me a new title," she said. "What is it?" Jace asked. She smiled. "Keeper of Echoes." He chuckled. "It fits." Then he looked into her eyes. "Do you ever miss the hiding, the quiet, the days when it was just you and me, running?" She nodded. "Sometimes, because in the silence, you saw me, when no one else dared." He touched her hand. "You were never cursed, Celia." "I know," she said softly. "Because you were the first to say, 'You're safe here.'" They stood together watching the city below, glowing with new life, singing with the voices of the past and future, no longer forgotten, no longer feared, reborn. And somewhere deep in the stars others watched. The council had fallen. The empires were changing. The memory of one girl had shaken the galaxy. And this was just the beginning.